Okay, well, here we go. Here is the Kabar Dog's Head. As you can see here up close now, we got the nice leather sheath with the insignia there. And now let's talk about the real thing here, the knife itself. Such an iconic knife, you know. A lot of rich history involving this knife here. I mean, more particularly the USMC K-bar. The differences being the guard and the pommel is different between the two. So, like I said, I wanted to do some size comparisons right off the bat here for you. This here is a vintage Buck 120. All right. The new ones are the same size, so there's no difference. This one just happens to be a vintage buck. And we can see there that, I mean, let's try to get these babies lined up so we can see the overall. Of course, you know, here's my scientific measuring. All right, so there we go. We obviously have a much more pronounced clip on the buck here. Different swedge design. Neither of these have a sharpened swedge. We can see that the K-bar handle is much larger, right? More generous. We can also see that you know, certain contourings and things like that vary. Overall, though, we'll try to line the blades up on these as best as I can, and we can see there that the buck is labeled as 7 3/8 of an inch. So really, for all purposes, it's roughly 7.5 inches, and we can see that here. All right, we can see the difference there. Let's check out some of the thickness here on this. All right. Now, as it appears to me, the buck has the thicker blade. Still, the K-bar is plenty thick enough. So I want to show you another size comparison here. And I do this so, you know, people who may be on the fence about purchasing it, you know, maybe they have one of these other knives that they can sort of compare it to in that size range. So here is the Kabar BK7. I'll try to do my precise measuring up here again. I would say that that's probably about right there if I line these pommels up. Overall length, as it appears to me, the BK7 is ever so slightly longer. Obviously, the BK7 has a wider blade profile. These are Coca-Cola scales that are on this here. And the BK7 is full tang. We see here that BK7 coming in at 3/16 is just a hair thicker than the K-bar USMC. So, why would someone want the K-bar, Dog's Head, not the USMC? Why would somebody want the K-bar Dog's Head? Well, you do have a slimmer profile with the K-bar Dog's Head. You do have the warmth of a hidden tang. And also, I got to say that there's some more comfort involved in the hidden tang, at least for me. And the balance is a little bit different. I would say that the Dog's Head does not chop as well as the BK7, but still chops plenty good. Nostalgic reasons aside, this to me is a very aesthetically pleasing knife. And of course, these are all opinions, you know, so nobody should be getting bent out of shape on this stuff. I happen to like the overall profile of this Dog's Head knife. It doesn't have any, you know, type of design that looks tactical at all in the sense of modern technical, which tends to be a little over the top for me This is old school tactical, old school badassery right here. Wonderful knife. And as I said before, you know, if you're bending this knife, I'm not really sure what somebody's doing, but it's user error. Okay, you're using the wrong tool. You know, if you had a screwdriver and you broke the screwdriver prying something, you probably wouldn't blame the screwdriver, right? You'd say, I was prying something, probably should have used a pry bar. And that's how I feel about knives. And if you make a screwdriver that's able to be a pry bar, probably not going to be that good of a screwdriver. And that goes the same, in my opinion, once again, with knives. If we're making a knife that is so thick and so durable that it can withstand going through 6-inch rounds of hickory, how good is it at other things? You know, how is it to wear on the hip? How is it to, slice meat? How is it to do any of that stuff? And I think with the K-bar here, which would be the same for the USMC, right? But this happens to be the dog's head. But I want to say with this design here, you do get a lot of durability. But I do think you still get some finesse with it. One thing I did want to point out, and maybe you can see, is my tip is a little wonky on this. You can see it with the grind on it is not exactly centered. It is still sharp. There's no doubt about that. That baby's got some sharpness on it. And the grind is good on the knife overall. I stripped these blades. I don't like the black coating. In terms of tactical aspects of being seen by the enemy, I would rather blue the knife or put such a heavy patina on it that it wouldn't show anything in the dark or reflect any light. I don't believe most people buying this are in that situation. And most combat is usually done from afar. But supposing that it's not, blue the blade, or use it so much you get a nice dark patina on it, or put the patina on yourself. I don't like the coatings that K-Bar provides, or any of them really, because it's not good for food prep. I don't really care for it for fish and game either. It's tough to clean, and it does add a lot of friction when cutting certain things. I am not afraid of carbon steels and rust. I live in a cold, wet environment, and I don't really have any issues. Many people didn't in the past. If you're, maybe in another area where, salt water might be an issue, or, maybe you're using it in a more, submerging it a lot, maybe then it could become an issue. But as I've stated, these were used in World War II, some of the heaviest combat known to the United States. And these were also used in the Vietnam War, which is also some brutal, brutal terrain and combat. And these were submerged a lot. In terms of the handle and treatment on the handle, if, that was a worry to you, I would retreat this handle periodically with maybe some butcher block conditioner. Something like that is usually what I use and works very good. And it's also something that's food safe. So I tend to like that a lot too. It's a very, very rich history with knives like this. And it really is a pleasure to carry. It gives a nice feeling out in the woods. I enjoy using it a lot. I am not looking for a belt knife where I can leave all my other tools at home, because that's just not the case. A knife this size will not replace my Estwing hatchet, or any hatchet for that matter. So as I've stated a million times in all my videos, you gotta have your tool set. Every real woodsman did. The one tool option stuff is it's It's really just campfire talk. I would bet that if you have the skills, this could easily be a one-tool option. If we can see someone like Mors Kahansky do all the amazing things he does with a in far weaker knife, in my opinion, compared to this, smaller, and he's doing it all right, and he recommends wedges and all these things, this will definitely see you through any situation. As I stated before, having this tang be softer so it bends is a good thing. You could run it over with a Jeep, a truck. You could bend this thing. It will bend back. Many other knives may break. And at that point, you will not have a usable knife. So in terms of extreme situations, you don't have to worry about the knife breaking. Bending, yes, perhaps, but not breaking. And so you'll most likely always have a usable knife. What are most woodsmen doing with their belt knives in the woods? It could be a myriad of different tasks, It could be quartering some larger game. Could be, chopping up some fish for cut bait, right? It could be, slicing up different vegetation or other meat for camp cooking, right? Potatoes, carrots, onions. Could be any of those things, right? Could be making camp, notches for around camp, feather sticks, boring a hole, right? Into something, perhaps a hearth board, or to add another notch in in your belt or a pack strap. Any of these things, right? Opening a can of beans, even. This will do it, no problem. 1095 readily holds a excellent edge, I feel. And the plus side of it is you can put an edge on it with just a regular stone, right? There's no specialized sharpening media. There's none of that. And if you're out there in the woods long enough, you're going to have to eventually sharpen your knife. It will happen, whether you're using Magna Cut, 3V, 1075, 01, 1095. You're going to have to sharpen your knife if you're using it. I would rather have to sharpen my knife a couple extra times in use, but be able to sharpen it, no problem. Strap it on my belt, or, use a carborundum stone, Arkansas stone, you name it. I want that edge to come back. I want it to respond quickly. And this will. As I stated before, as this comes stripped, it will, throw a spark with your ferrocerium rod. At least mine did to some degree. I freshened it up a little bit on a belt sander. But it could do it. It is passable if you just had to take it out of the box and run with it. And because it is 1095 Crovan, which is chrome vanadium, it will throw a spark with a piece of flint or chert, quartz, whatever you may be using, which is another great thing. You can find those things in creek beds and, shorelines, in the middle of the woods even. And that guarantees you that if you have a blade made of that type of steel, that you'll be able to properly effect the fire. Thank you very much for watching this here, the Kabar Dog's Head Bowie knives for the Woodsman. Take care.